How well do premium sneakers age? Well, I've worn these CQP sneakers 6 times, sometimes 7 times a week over the past year, and during that time, I basically ignored all the best shoe care practices. I never cleaned them, never babied them, never used shoe trees or shoe horns, and the result is this. Okay, let's start with the uppers. The stitches are holding up just fine. Excellent, in fact, considering that not even one thread has unraveled despite all the abuse. The suede has definitely darkened and picked up some dirt, but isn't really obvious unless you put it side by side with a new pair. This part of the leather though is pretty beat up. Not even sure how it came to be, but apart from that, most of the leather is still relatively clean. Only thing is that there are abrasions on the inner side of the heel because I'm too lazy to untie the shoes after a long day. Not that it bothers me anyway since it's not a highly visible area. Also too lazy to tie the laces, so I usually just shove my foot in. Kinda expected the heel counter to deform because of this, but surprisingly, it has kept its shape, and any molding of the heel counter to conform to the shape of my heel is non-existent. Of course, as with all leather shoes, creases are unavoidable. Honestly, they are not as ugly as I thought, and I think it's a losing battle trying to prevent it anyway, so I just leave it as it is. And contrary to what most people will say that leather will stretch, it doesn't. At least not significantly. The shoe is narrow on day one and is still narrow even after over 300 wears. Next, the shoelaces, which are probably the least worn out part of the shoe, if only because I never untie them like I mentioned earlier. Also didn't notice this when I first got them, but there are metal eyelets below for a smoother lacing experience, and they stay hidden from the top, which complements the Otium's minimalist silhouette. It's a pretty neat detail, and I suppose they are high quality since there aren't any rust or scratches. I don't think there was any glue initially along the cupsole, so if you pull away the uppers hard enough, you can see a little gap. But thanks to the sidewall stitch, which is holding up well, the structural integrity of the shoe isn't compromised. Unsurprisingly, this area is the most visibly dirty part of the sneaker. Kinda reminds you of Golden Goose, though if you're going more for that vintage yellow look, maybe try storing them for a longer time. On the outsole, there's wear and tear where it corresponds to my heel, ball of foot, and toes, as well as the tip of the outsole. These areas have become slightly less grippy, but overall, the shoe is still very much grippy. Interestingly, the toe spring height has increased, and the outsole is a little more flexible now compared to when I first got them, and I suspect it's because I didn't use shoe trees to flatten the inside. There's a foot imprint on the insole, though it's actually not that deep since it's just a thin layer of leather on top of foam, so comfort hasn't really changed all that much. The brown dye from the insole bled onto my socks during the first few wears, but it eventually stopped. The squeakiness, on the other hand, worsened. There wasn't any squeakiness at the start, but over time the shoe squeaked louder and louder due to the arch area of the insole rubbing against the lining. Thankfully, there's no funky smell inside. I guess it's mostly because of the antimicrobial property of the Vachetta leather lining, or maybe I just got used to the smell. So, do premium sneakers like these age well? Based on my experience, I'd say yes. Despite a practically non-existent care routine, these CQP sneakers have held up remarkably well over the past year. Yes, there's dirt, scuffs, and general wear and tear, but nothing is truly damaged to the point that it becomes an eyesore. If anything, the aging adds to its natural charm, unlike the artificial aging on a Golden Goose. Speaking of birds, check out this video. Until next time, stay subtle.